Who's ready for another unhinged client story? Let's name her Kendall. Thank you, Kendall, for letting me use your name from the last video. Yes, I do know that my eye is like insanely red. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night. God knows why. It's just how I am. So this just happened to me. So technically, okay, Kendall wasn't or isn't a client, but she did inquire with me and there was a story behind this. So I wake up to an email this morning. Yes, I did wake up at like 5 in the morning. I know, I need to sleep more. Anyway, I wake up and I see this email. Kendall and I have been kind of in back and forth. She inquired, I sent her information, she asked a couple questions, the basic stuff, how it normally goes. So where we left off yesterday is that I sent her the information. She asked me a couple questions about like outfits and stuff like that. I answered those. And then she sent me an email this morning that said, wait a second, this isn't all free, basically is how she asked it. She basically said, wait, I have to pay for the session and then I have to pay for product. I just saw the product guide, which we sent several emails prior. So she just now saw it, which is wild to me, but that does happen often. So she goes, it's okay. I just want the digitals anyway. So I'll just take the digitals. So of course, knowing, the conversation that we had, I was like, she doesn't know that the digitals are not like complimentary. They don't like come with the session. You have to purchase them. I can tell that she doesn't understand that because she was pissed that I even charged anything after the session itself. So I respond back this morning and say, hey, Kendall, just as a clarifier, basically, I want to just make sure that you understand that the digital gallery is a product technically. So you do have to purchase the digital gallery after your session at your image reveal if you want the digitals. And I basically said, if that's all good and dandy for you, we can totally move forward and get you booked. Why people resort to lawyers in anything that they disagree with or are pissed off about is beyond me. A little foreshadowing for you. So she said, oh my God, why do you charge after the session? You're already charging me for the session. Like, why do you charge more? And I'm like, Kendall, we only charged $300 for the actual session, which is the one that she was choosing. It does go from $300 to $3,000, but we have 4 different types of experiences. But she was choosing the cheapest one and then thinking that I was able to pay my, Orange County studio off, all of my electricity and my bills, like all that stuff with the $300. Which doesn't even cover my hair and makeup artist. So I explained that to her. I say, okay, so $300 doesn't cover anything. It literally covers part of hair and makeup. So we are making absolute zero. In fact, we are actually kind of in a way paying you to be here. Before y'all come at me in the comments and say, you need to change your pricing structure. No, I do not. That's not what this video is about. My pricing structure has been solid for 20 years and we are all good. Thank you. Anyway, so Kendall then starts to get kind of nasty with me. And she starts saying, well, that's just greedy. That sounds very greedy to me. And this is, keep in mind, this is all an email. So she's just like responding back. She goes, that seems very greedy and very like, I don't know if I want to do business with someone like that. So I literally just emailed her back and I said, Kendall, no problem. If that's how you feel, there are, thousands of other photographers in the area. You are more than welcome to choose who you vibe with the most. If that's not me, totally fine. I wish you the best of luck. She responds back with, well, you're not going to fight for like my business. You're not going to fight for me. Like that seems just, ooh, yeah, I really don't know if you're like the vibe I want to go with if you aren't willing to fight for your customers. I'm like, ma'am, what do you want? And I'm like sitting there going, what do you mean fight for you? Like force you to pay me thousands of dollars that you're not comfortable spending? That seems less like fighting for you and more forcing you to do something you don't want to do. But to each their own, I suppose. So I said again, Kendall, I'm sorry you feel that way. However, I don't think that we are the best fit. We're not aligning. So therefore, I'm going to cut the conversation now at this point. Please let me know if there's any other questions I can answer or if you feel differently. And then, okay, so real quick, little backstory here. So for those of you who don't know me or don't follow me on Instagram, which you should, by the way, handle is @photography by Alyssa Michelle. Shameless plug real quick. But if you do not follow me on Instagram, you don't know, a lot about me specifically, like me personally. In 2021, I started my wellness, what you would call a wellness fitness journey. It was because my doctor had told me that my heart was going to give out had I been eating and continuing the path that I was going down. I was almost at 200 pounds, which was my personal heaviest, for my size. And it was putting a lot of strain on my heart. Anyway, point being is I started my wellness and fitness journey then, not necessarily with the intention of, or the main intention of losing weight, but to just get healthy, to pump up my heart, to make sure I'm, good. Obviously, that does come with losing weight. So I lost 70 pounds. So just keeping that in mind. Kendall decides to throw in a personal stab at me for whatever reason I do not know. And keep in mind, this was all this morning. This conversation just ended. She said in the email that I will always be the fat kid, and just because I lost 70 pounds doesn't make me better than anyone else. No one said I thought I was better than anybody else. What? First of all, you can't hurt me because, whatever. I just think that's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing to say. But why are we throwing in someone's weight or journey when you're pissed off that I charge a certain way? Just move on. Go to a different photographer. Why do you have to insult me? So I responded back with, ouch. I basically said, ouch, that was so unnecessary. I'm going to be blacklisting you. You are no longer welcome in my studio in the future, or any, future correspondence, whatever. She responds back with that she's getting her lawyer involved. Do all these people just have lawyers on retainer? Is this what's going on? Do you have so many lawsuits going on that you just have them on retainer? But why in the world would you want to involve a lawyer for me blacklisting you? Do you think that that's not allowed? I'm allowed to refuse service to anybody. I just found that wild. I haven't even responded at this point because I'm this is honestly too funny to entertain, and too ridiculous to entertain. But I thought I'd come on here and tell you that unhinged story because it was quite entertaining for my beautiful Saturday morning.